You met some of the craziest and most impactful people around the world. How to connect? How do you connect now when it's so much easier for you just to stay at home and disconnect? There's all the entertainment you want
Yeah.
at your fingerprint. So connecting does not become the priority. But it seems like if you reverse it, connecting is one of the most important things.
Like we said, look, loneliness and ease will kill you, right? Curse of affluence and being sedentary is going to kill you, right? Just like we just said in the beginning, community is what keeps you alive, and being comfortable at being uncomfortable keeps you alive. Giving your body good stress, your mind stress, helps for neuroconnectivity and neurogenesis, and so it's really important to. So the reason to how to connect is being open, right? I love to say, always have the mindset of being that you don't know what you don't know. If you open to knowing that, then you're open to connect and reach out to whatever sources there are that can fulfill your curiosity.
Because a lot of people would say, you know what, I'm introverted, I hate being rejected, I have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I don't know. I think everyone has if you read Daniel Priestley or things like that, everyone has a unique story. Everyone has something to offer, and we're living in a world of micro niches, whereby someone out there is interested in what you have, like whatever it is that you're doing. So I don't think people should feel that they're lonely. You just have to find your tribe. And the interesting thing is with the digital world that's removed geography, what's that created is that you can now find your tribe.
Yeah.
Right. And there are these weird people from all around the world that are into certain, Japanese ambient music from the 1980s or whatever, or underwater basket weaving or whatever it might be,
Yeah, and interestingly enough, that the people that are successful in certain regards, they are less afraid to be rejected. Like they are ready to ask, and they are fine when people say no. We met at the event that I was doing this presentation. Then you reach out to me because you seen I interviewed one of my friends, and so essentially you didn't have this thing. Oh, I'm gonna be rejected, and he's gonna not introduce me to the guy. It's all casual, like we didn't know each other before. And I think a lot of people need to stop being afraid to just reaching out, because the worst thing is no, but the best thing is yes. So like you're definitely losing anything. Like if I say no and you just move on and you find this guy any other way.
For sure. So I always you're not going to get if you don't ask, and your downside and upside. What's your downside? What's your upside? Right. So it's really kind of quite easy, and also it's again failing fast kind of thing, right? So if you I think it's kind of fun to kind of have that butterfly feeling. Am I going to fuck this up or not? Is he going to say yes or no? But what does it hurt? I just tell you this funny story. This past weekend I was at the Wellspring Conference in Gold Coast, and I was trying to meet Dr. David Sinclair, and I just, as a festival guy, I know kind of how to hack the system and do all this stuff. So I just walked, after obviously everyone was trying to talk to him, and I wanted to get his contact, and then he went, obviously when he finished speaking, he wasn't going to come in front of the stage and get mauled. So he just walked to the back, and then I saw the other back curtain, went to the back curtain, and just tried walking through the back. And then I got through the back, the handler said, "What are you doing here?" and escorted me out. And I thought, okay, so that didn't work. And then, I didn't get disheartened. I walked up, the book signing, he was doing a book signing, and it was completely full. And then I just waited until the end of the book signing, and then no one was talking to him, and it went up to him, and the mission accomplished.
Wow.
Right? So it's like, so you got to set intention, and if that's what you want to do, it's great. If not, and what harm done? You try it and you pivot and figure out something else.
Yeah. But I'm with you. I'm just trying to be like a devil's advocate of person who is watching, and they'll always have excuses, and the excuse will be, well, I look stupid.
Yeah.
I will just, it doesn't work. Why would somebody like that talk to me? Like all these stories in our head.
And that's how you become lonely, right?
Yes.
So I think it's kind of one of those things that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or like this kind of downward spiral vortex that's going to keep compounding if you keep doing that. It's like you don't wash that plate you play dishes in the sink and you just let it pile up,
Yeah.
and then now you have to clean 20 of them. So it's the same thing here. As you keep thinking and living in your head, and you know, just low self-worth and value starts kind of compounding, and you just haven't done anything about it. You're just gonna dwell on that, right? So at least you can put some scores, but you know, try to shoot some hoops out there and see if you can hit a few baskets and see what happens.
I agree, and I think it's a lot of speed is very important.
Yeah.
As I told in one of my presentations before, my value right now is extreme sense of urgency because speed is not fast enough, and I find I do that because it doesn't allow me to overthink.
Yeah,
I'm a lot in my head, a lot of overthinking. But if I go too fast and I fail, I learn as much as I can faster than anybody else, and that allows me to say, okay, I just failed already. I tried it, and now I understand what I need to do, and I just go. And it kind of switches off your brain. It's like dating. If you wanna go to somebody that is out of your league, you just go. Like there's no need to overthink it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that one thing I forgot to mention was just overthinking, right? Yeah, if you're living in your head, you just gotta go with your heart, right? What, you know, if you feel it and trust your gut, trust your intuition, and if this is the person you want to meet or the thing that you want to do, just go for it, right? So, yeah.
Intuition is also very interesting because, I mean, most people are not attuned to their intuition. So how do you discern if this is how you feel or if that's what brain creates stories in your head? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So a mentor of mine, Dr. Gino, you know, he taught me about, like, listen to your body. Look at your body. Your physiology will dictate what you want.
Interesting.
What's happening. So you can feel if you feel something's not right, your stomach and your body feels weird, right? If someone's lying to you, you can start to see them blinking a lot. Okay. If someone's really interested in you and focused, they don't move their eyes. The eyes are open the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So you can see from physiology how their breath is and what's happening based on the reaction, and so you follow your body, the physiology of your body, to understand what your intuition is telling you.
Okay, so it is connected directly to the responses of your body. So you need to tune in. You sort of need to take the audit of your body right now, and then try to connect to your body in certain situations and see how you feel.
Yeah. So this is about mindfulness and awareness, right? Self-awareness, and if you have the ability to kind of breathe and just take a step back and just take one deep breath before anything, and just think and let your body kind of tell you what's happening.
Yeah. What do you do in the mornings? You seem like you probably have some interesting mindfulness routines.
Well, I like to say I do, and I try my best, but you know, when you travel a lot and you have kids, it always messes up. But you know, I try to set it up so that, you know, you're up at crack of dawn, you know, 6:30, you get your supplements in, you get your you get your juices in, your enzymes, whatever that may be, whatever your stack is, a little bit of meditation in the morning and some movement of some sort, and then play with the kids, and then try not to look at your phone till 9 a.m., which is very hard to do, and then try to take some quality time with the kids and wife before you get on with the day. So, and the great thing about Bali is, you know, it's a morning kind of place, daytime place. So you try to capture the morning, so that, you know, you can be the kind of California lifestyle by like late afternoon, you're done.
Yeah.
Before you have to deal with like foreign calls in the night or something.
Because I think to connect your body and being in tune, it's important to have some kind of routine where you keep coming back. Because, I mean, let's be honest, most of us will walk automatically through life and just react.
Yeah.
So to have awareness and intuition, you still need to be able to drop in and say, this is where I am right now, this is my baseline, and I'm feeling right now something is wrong. So it needs to be level of awareness. But to get to awareness, you have to drop in.
Yeah. So for me, I've been, you know, I was told by many different types of healers and mentors, you know, acupuncturists, that I've been living on cortisol. I have low chi because I've been living on cortisol for too long, on the fight and flight response and the sympathetic as opposed to the parasympathetic, you need to balance my autonomic system better, and that is really about regulation and routine, right? And making room for me time and peace time and silent time and reflection time and whatnot. So you're not just constantly reacting to stuff.
Yes.
Right. And because again, you're living with these devices that constantly attract your attention or take away your attention.
Yes. And they make you numb.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the consequence is getting numb. Like once you see certain lifestyle of people all day long on Instagram, and then you're not connecting with that lifestyle, then your body might send you wrong signals. Oh, you're such a loser because Jason here is like flying to Thailand and doing wonder fruit, and I'm sitting here in my office and feeling sad about myself. So it might trick you into feeling that you're not good enough. And then when you see some famous person you want to go to, you're like, well, what am I?
Well, I mean, as long as you know that's Instagram is mostly manufactured, then you're fine. But if you think that's the truth, then then that's when you get manipulated, and then it affects your self-worth and whatnot. But if I got back to the earlier point, back in the day, it was for us to meet people and meet a significant other was you had to do the hard work. These days have got make it much easier for us. I mean, these days you can just call up anyone on Instagram now.
Oh, really?
You don't even have to cold message them, DM them. You can actually just call them direct on Instagram.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So that's pretty crazy, right? So it makes it even easier. There's no excuse for you not to have any fear of reaching out to someone you want to. So I've had some amazing results reaching out to artists and whatnot that I wanted to connect with. But back in the day, you had to plow the streets. You had to build network, credibility, all sorts of things before you could book an artist or get hold of them. You have to get the agent, manager, and all that sort of stuff. Now, because of Instagram, you can just, look them up and then DM them. And that's the beauty. That's one of the pluses of social media, that you have this direct connection to anyone who inspires you that you can reach out to. Yeah. And generally, they seem pretty responsive. That's why they're up there, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, including myself, like I learned it through sales. Like at some point, I just had to do an outreach, and they're like, "Well, if I don't reach out to lots and lots and lots of people and get rejected, I'm not gonna get where I need to get." So I would just do it, and I would rejection went on like it wasn't important anymore. I do it for a mission. If you do it just for fun, if you don't have a good reason to do something, then probably it's harder for you to do it. But if there's something bigger than just this person, you have certain mission you're trying to achieve, then reaching out to somebody famous or whoever is just a stepping stone to getting there.
And I think that universe, as a friend of mine has always said to me, the universe has a plan for you, and the universe provides, and it's always teaching you lessons, sending you energy. So if you're not supposed to meet that person, you're not supposed to meet that person. Or if you're not supposed to meet that person at that time, you're not supposed to meet them, right? But if you tried, you're also learning something, right? And
amazing. So Jason 3.0. So there was a lot of festivals and nightlife and building communities, and now you're moving into I guess regeneration and don't dying.
I don't, not trying to be cliche or anything, but it was really, I guess, maybe hitting 50, midlife crisis, or I don't know, self-reflection, or a confluence of different things. I think maybe there's several turning points. I think COVID, one of my closest friends passing away, the co-founder of RobotHeart, George Mueller, Geo, and having kids during COVID, living in Hong Kong, being one of the most, draconian COVID restriction places in the world, all added to that. And also, a friend of mine, Dr. Mark Hyman, who had taught me about chronological age versus biological age. And I learned about that, but then I decided at 49, to take a bunch of medical tests, including my telomere testing and genomics testing and whatnot. And I realized I was 49 and I was 56. And, back that, partying like a rock star wasn't so cool anymore. And when you're looking, hey, wait, I need to be around for these kids. They're 3 and 6. I need to be around for at least 20 some odd years, and not just around, not just, your lifespan, but your health span, right? So the quality of your life needs to be as good as how long you live, even if you don't want to be sitting in a wheelchair and be a burden to people, right? So that's when it was like the epiphany moment of like, is it what do I want to do? Where can I use my influence and my skill set to give me purpose and also give back and also create some impact? And my company's called Do What You Love, and the holding company's called Love What You Do. So what is my new Do What You Love and loving what I do, and who do I want to do it with? And it really was, I think the universe was telling me that all the stuff collided into longevity, whatever you want to call it, regeneration, longevity, agelessness, or just being healthy, which leads to happiness, and tied to community connection. Bali is one big community, and moving to Bali was one step. Being a yogi was another step. My wife is a yogi and a teacher and all that, and my kids are doing yoga at 3 and breath work and stuff. So you can't only imagine what they'll become, and unexpectedly from going to music, my passions moved into the ability to be able to curate wellness and food and art and design and all sorts of other things, and slowly those passions transitioned into more on the wellness space, and even the music side. You can see the global trends are moving in that way, and a lot of the musicians are moving their music into that and understanding that sound frequencies are healing. 432 hertz for harmony, and the God frequency of 963 and hertz. So all of that, has brought me to this 3.0, like moving here and then seeing the stream of consciousness and the people I'm surrounded with are now, like, you look around, all happen to be wellness. It's just so happened that when you change your switch, it's like, oh wow, I actually, from my Burning Man Wonder Fruit community or global community and people I'm starting to see in Bali, whatnot, that everyone's in wellness for some reason all of a sudden, and everything else is filtered out.
Yes.
So that's, I think, is my new calling. So.
Wow. So I think your strong suit is to manifest, if you can call it, whatever's in your brain, like all those crazy festivals, you imagine them and then you bring them to life. So how do you manifest this calling in real life? Like
the funny thing is, I never believed in astrology. I never believed in this human design stuff. And then, when you plug in your human design and then picks up, I'm a manifest generator.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I've always said, whatever I say, I do. And it happens, and then you plug in, human design, manifest generator. Okay, great. That's kind of, you set an intention, and then you kind of do it.
Manifest generator is the best one.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know.
I'm a manifestor, so I'm missing it. I need a generator to generate what I manifest.
Well, I think you need all them projectors. You need all of them in order to make something happen, right? You can't be all trying to make something happen. Someone else needs to play different parts. But as I think you've seen, like, I don't know if you've seen the Jim Carrey thing where, he manifested that he was going to be big, and he had written out all this sort of stuff, and that the check that he was going to make, and it really happened. And there's a bunch of stories like that. And I really believe your subconscious, if you set that intention, and also people have said, if you vocalize it, you hold yourself accountable, and then you say it enough times. And then I guess if you make it a mantra as well, some other people take it deeper and look at yourself in the mirror and say these things, whatnot. And then you start to, it starts to start happening. And then the universe starts to provide, and the synchronicity happens. And then if it's really going, then you start to hitting flow state.
Yeah.
Right. And then everything that's coming at you is what you are trying to manifest.
Yeah. I'm actually exploring this flow state a lot. Sometimes I feel I'm on it when things just aligning and you don't have to put any effort. And then you're kind of out of flow state. And when you're back into flow state, how do you get into flow state, and how do you know you are in it?
I think you get into flow state when everything seems effortless and it just seems like you are in sync with, it's like the Matrix, like when Neo, Keanu is like, doing a backward bend and the bullets are flying real slow and he's dodging all of them. That's like that kind of feeling. Everything is just mapping out correctly and it's just happening magically. And then when you sink out of it, there's like an energy shift, and then you're just back into this kind of...
Everything became very hard. The same thing that was like effortless are becoming extremely hard. And you're like, when did that happen?
Yeah, it's not happening. It's not. It's not supposed to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so you're in your flow state. You're moving into regeneration and agelessness. How do you see yourself playing a role in here?
Well, my role is is as I guess for me, but right now I'm looking to build I'm working with some amazing people to build a regeneration longevity boutique resort. And right now we are in the process of, it's called Centea. We're looking to launch in 2027, and we are building a community around it, actively doing that through our global network. And then there are definitely other projects in the works, but I can't talk about them right now until they're actually done. So, but my role is really the same thing it's always been. It's curating, creating culture, curating what I'm doing, whether it be the content, creativity, and culture, and community, and driving that, setting the vision and driving that, and finding the right people to realize it, and then letting them and empowering them to live out their paths.
Yeah. Let's talk more about the biohacking and regeneration in general. What have you learned apart from the fact that your biological age is a real age is way lower than your, I guess, telomere age. So you're essentially older. Yeah. In reality, you're older than you really are.
Yeah.
So apart from that,
but that can be reversed. So that's one thing you can change based on understanding yourself and your diet and what you're doing, and I managed to reverse that by a few years. I just got tested recently, a few days ago, and I took it back down to 49.
Really?
Yeah, over a course of 2 years.
And what have you done? What was the protocol?
Well, I have to really look back at all the things I've done, because as you said, I was biohacking. I'm not a doctor, and I didn't really go to doctors for this. It was a lot of like trial and error, figuring things out. So I don't know what was placebo, what was not necessary, what was necessary, and it's not a cheap experience. And then you don't know, because I don't have all the tools, so you don't know what you can attribute to what. But I mean, one thing I'll give you that was pretty interesting is, of course, I'm really into functional medicine, and generally, if you look at it, I think most things natural can heal you. I mean, I'll give you a good example. I had a UTI infection, and I went to the doctor, and they said, okay, take amoxicillin and this other stuff, which is antibiotic chemical. And what does that do? It fucks up your microbiome. It kills all the bad bacteria and good bacteria in your gut, and it takes years for it to replenish. Wow. Right? And as it is, most of us have, like 80% of us have leaky gut. Yeah. Right? And then you're trying to heal your gut. But then I had, a mentor who's not a doctor, who's been giving me my peptide stacks and whatnot. And she said, just drink cranberry juice for 2 days. And I did, and it was gone.
Yeah, for UTI is the best.
Yeah, so there's things, and then I did some acupuncture the other day, and this other guy had told me, the other doctor, he had said, you can just take the silk skin from the corn, and just put it and make tea with it, and that also cures it. Wow. So like that costs nothing, and it doesn't cause the harm, right? So okay, back to so what are my protocols? I mean, I think if I put it in the logical sense, as Peter Drucker said, you can't measure what you don't, you can't manage what you don't measure, right? So you got to measure everything in order to understand your baseline, where you're at before you know where you're going. Yeah. So the important thing is really measuring yourself through testing and understanding what are you testing for. And the beautiful thing about ChatGPT and any of these AI apps, now it makes it easy for you. So what I've done is that, I take the various, your DNA test, you take your human design, you take your blood work, you take your gut microbiome test, epigenetics test, whatever other tests you got going on, thermoscans or Zytoscans or whatever else is in your testing, and then you just take those reports and put it up on ChatGPT and ask them to develop a longevity blueprint for you, and based on your blood type and your age, and then also whatever other information you want to let them know about your lifestyle and your mental health, and then it'll pump out something for you. So now you don't have a closet full of supplements that you don't actually need, and you only have stuff that you actually need, and the stuff that you actually need, that you need to supplement on, and not just buy it for the sake of it because it's hip and cool because Huberman or someone told you to buy it. Yeah, so that's really it, because your blood type, your DNA, and all these things, and your lifestyle is going to dictate that. And if you already have it in your diet, yeah,
So essentially, the testing is crucially important.
I
Just to
think that's
find
the
your
first
baseline.
step. Yeah, and also foundational health is the most important thing. So if you don't get enough sleep, you don't drink enough water, you don't do exercise, and you eat like shit, and then
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter what you take and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And if you take too much of certain stuff, you're just going to pee it up and mess up your liver and kidneys anyway, right? So,
Yes.
yeah. So
And do you work out every day?
I try to do I mean, I do movement every day, but yeah, my exercise revolves around yoga, resistance training, some light cardio, and paddle here and there, as you do in Bali.
Yes.
You cannot do paddle
You cannot play paddle.
and play with the kids, and that's it. Yeah, unfortunately, one thing I really miss about living in Hong Kong and the city is walking. Right,
Yes.
you don't even know in Hong Kong. You don't even notice you do 10,000 steps in a blink of an eye.
Yes.
And I really miss that when I'm living in Bali, because you're sucking up dust.
Yeah, you cannot walk. That's the only thing I agree with you that
Yeah.
I really don't like. It's
Yeah.
impossible to walk. What about the diet? How did your diet change once you figure out that you want to?
Beautiful thing about Bali is you can't escape not eating clean. And also, I think you just older, you're just more conscious of it. I just don't like sugary things anymore. And the information's out there on how bad some of this stuff is, right? And the mislabeling and the information that they give you, and it's just bad. And I think being a parent, you start to realize, I don't want to feed my kids this crap. Your parents didn't know any better, and they're giving you all this stuff that's the cereals that RFK is trying to ban, and all this stuff, the ketchups and whatnot. Brian Johnson has videos about discovering what these chocolates and French fries, all this crap that you've been fed. And you can just feel it in your body, how it comes through in your body and out your body.
Yes.
You know what's the good stuff and what's bad. The good stuff slides out, the bad stuff doesn't slide out so good. And then, you can feel it in your skin, and you could just drop weight like that by eating clean, right?
Yeah, it's not that complicated. Even fruits, I eat fruits for sugar most of the time,
Yeah.
and I actually feel really good. I don't have any
Yeah.
issues eating a big plate of fruit. And before I would hear, oh, it's too much sugar, too much sugar. I'm like, if I don't eat anything else that contains so much sugar, like whatever it's in a package already, there will be way more sugar than any fruit I can eat. And if I don't drink, I think juice has more sugar. Like if you just drink pure juice,
Yeah.
but if you eat like plate of fruit, it's pretty manageable. At
Yeah.
least
Well, what
in
was
my
it?
opinion.
Dr. Joe from BSI, right? He says, you should juice your fruit in your mouth,
Yes.
right? So
yeah,
you get the fiber and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. Any other like sleep? Okay, let's talk about sleep. What do you do with sleep? How
Well,
long do you sleep?
unfortunately, I don't have. I mean, I'm not a very good sleeper through the night. I don't know if it's because of my age. If at 50, like you get up and pee in the middle of the night a few times, so I'm still trying to optimize my sleep. But as you know, you have the same thing. Your morning routine, you have the night routine, right? And try to set that at the same time, and your room temperature, the lighting in the room, and the blue light from your phones. Avoid that 2 hours before. You stop eating by 7:30 p.m. And hydrate as much in the day. Don't try to hydrate at night, so you don't pee at night. I mean, so it's pretty easy to find out what you should be doing, but can you do it?
Exactly.
Is another thing, right? And how much can you do it? And then how do you not disrupt that through distractions and travel and whatnot?
Yeah, and the other thing is that sometimes people go too far.
Yeah.
I know quite a few friends who went into biohacking, and then they would buy like $1 million worth of equipment. They would ship it, and then they would spend, I don't know, 3-4 hours a day just going through one protocol. And I'm
Yeah.
like, is that really worth it? I don't know. Sometimes you just go too far. Like how, if that's your life, it's fine. Like Brian Johnson decided that his
Yeah.
life is not to die.
Yeah.
But for some of us who want to integrate some good habits into our life, so we just have more energy, live longer. If we go the other way around and we spend days and hours just going through the protocol, I think it just takes from life itself.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think Brian is an outlier, right? And then, as he said many times, he said, "I'm not supposed to be a model. You can do if you 10% of what I'm doing, you're fine."
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
He was even saying, just drink the olive oil every day, and that's good enough, right? Basically, I mean, I'm obviously oversimplifying, but yeah, you got to live, right? I mean, you got to enjoy yourself a little bit. It's a balanced living, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's really just keeping it simple. I mean, I think we all know human nature. You get caught up with all the marketing and you buy all this, buy a lot of these gadgets, wearables and stuff, and you generally don't even use them. How many apps do you use on your phone? How many apps do you have on your phone? And how many you use? And then, like, I've kind of already kind of bored of this thing. I don't really use it that much, and it's like, and there's like this planned obsolescence stuff that doesn't make it,
Yeah.
that makes it kind of annoying as well. So, who knows? Maybe when they make it like auto sync, so you're ingesting the tracker in your body, and then you don't have to think about it, or like you have the Toto toilet where you poop in it, and it automatically prints out the results on your mirror. That might make it much easier for you to adopt.
Yeah, that would be correct.
But right now there's a lot of friction and so I don't know. I think we all have gadgets that just sit there that we bought, and just a collection that collect dust. So yeah.
And with AI and all the new technology, how do you think that will affect longevity in general?
Well, I think, as we all know, we have a personal psychologist and a personal doctor we can talk to that's smarter than any doctor. That could take us a certain way, and then of course at some point you got to talk to a real doctor.
Yeah.
But I think it can help you answer a lot of things better than being paranoid and looking on WebMD or something. But one thing I found quite interesting, if you come from old school Asian mentality, you don't want therapists and all
Yes.
that. Like my parents are. My dad's Indian, mom's Chinese, and I'm obviously for them self-help and getting therapists is not in their culture to do that, the older generation. But I was explaining to my dad, look, you can just talk to that screen and say anything you want. No one will know anything, and it learns about you, and you can say anything and learn from it.
Yes.
Right. So I think there's great benefit in that, and it's right at your fingertip, and you don't have to get out of the house or get on a Zoom and share something you don't feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah. And I think the more AI learns and the more we can integrate into what we have, those tests you're saying, I guess will be way easier to take. And then we can have daily AI checking all your measurements and just creating your plan every single day.
Well, when you have your own personal Jarvis, it will be with you 24/7, telling you everything. I guess it depends on how switched on and synced up you want to be, right?
Yeah.
Because again, at some point, that also kind of becomes like stifling.
The crutch.
Yeah.
So, Brian Johnson don't want to die at all. A lot of this longevity people, they want to live until 150, 200 years. What's your view on that? How long are you going to live, or how long do you think we're going to live?
Well, I think what Ray Kurzweil said, that in 5 years we could get to mortality, right? You have going to have like nanobots that can come into your biology, your physiology, and be able to comb for diseases and get rid of all the dead cells and put in good cells and repair and do all that sort of thing. So, and of course you've got 3D printing of organs. You've got filters, plasmapheresis. And you've got replacement parts, right? You can just replace yourself with robotic parts and Kevlar and whatnot. So, and then the mental health part, you've got a bunch of folks from Bezos to Sam Altman to Dave Sinclair trying to create the super drug to reverse the neuro diseases, neurological diseases. So at some point, but then you just wonder, can you continue to have purpose?
That's what I'm thinking.
Do you continue to have purpose? Do you have the will to live?
Yeah.
Is there something worth continue living? But I guess if Elon can get us all to move to Mars, might be exciting. So all the oldies go to Mars, and well, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll get to that at some point if there's meaning, and how is the quality of your life? I mean,
yes, that what worries me the most, because I think it's harder and harder to find purpose.
Yeah.
Because before 100 years ago, your purpose is to eat, hunt, and get your food. Now, once you have everything at your fingertips, all the experiences can be experienced right away, whatever you want. It's harder and harder to find why do you really exist.
Yeah, and we lived to exist from stress, from hunters and gatherers to being entrepreneurs, to trying to go through failure to succeed and have a goal, purpose, whatever that may be, your path and calling. But if you look at it, if abundance is there with AI that can solve and do everything for you, what do you actually do? So you can create, and that leisure but leads to complacency, and then and that's when disease and all that sort of things happens, right?
Yeah.
And so we are going to be heading down a kind of the wrong path if you don't have a certain purpose or meaning. And yes, it's interesting. It's going to be quite interesting. Yeah.
I was reading somebody in Japan haven't left their house for 6 years. And I'm like, okay, take this person and let this person live for 150 years. Like, what's the reason? They haven't left for 6 years their house. They're going to not leave their house for 100 years.
Yeah, well, if they haven't left after 6 years, they're probably going to die pretty soon, right? From loneliness, from lack of sunlight, lack of all sorts of things, right?
Yeah. But I think the brain plays this trick. It says, okay, this is all familiar. Let's say first you're adrenaline, you get this, I don't know, rejection, objection, finding your way. And then once you went for this path, you're like, okay, I'm bored with that. I already tried it. Let's say you made an amazing festival, great. You made a bigger festival, great. At some point, you get to a point where you made the festival, where you're like, you know what? I'm just going to do something else. It's not my thing. Now, stretch it across a period of time where you experienced everything that you really wanted to experience to the crazy amount. And now you're sitting there, you're like, everything you show me is boring. So going to a restaurant and you're like, when you first see sushi, you're like, shit, this is sushi. Like my kids see sushi, like, wow. And then when you try like sushi thousands of times, like I tried better sushi than this. Yeah. You see all the small details and nuances. Yeah. And this is a problem because you kind of not feeling it anymore, but you are more kind of, I don't know, start judging things you shouldn't judge.
Yeah, I guess you become so jaded, right? And so then you're not stimulated at all.
Exactly.
Then you just become blasé and bored, right? And at that point, that's when you probably turn off the switch. But I guess to look at it from a consciousness and spirituality standpoint, you can go, well, can I become a monk and become self-actualized, right? Do I pursue enlightenment at that point, right? If you're into spirituality and sit there and meditate for God knows how many hours, or meditate till you turn into a corpse. Yeah. I guess. I don't know, man. I think that at some point, if you lack purposes, you just be bored. And if there's no purpose and everything's done for you and you've done everything, then what is there to...
It's like playing a game with the cheat codes.
Yeah.
We've all been there. You play a video game like, oh, you're stuck. And like, I just want to use this cheat code once. Yeah. I'm just going to get to the next level and then I'm going to play. Yeah. And then you get used to playing with cheat codes and then you stop playing right away.
Yeah, there's no fulfillment.
Yeah, it's like, I know it all. To me, that's a scary realization that we might all get there. Because it's happening already. We see how... I show things to my kids. They are 4 and 6. When I was them, I did not experience so many things. Now they can experience anything they want, and they would go to the craziest place that they've never been, and they'll be like, huh, cool. Like, where is that excitement?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? Or like, and then they need more. They're like, well, in one day we need to go to Disneyland and to Kidzania and to Eiffel Tower. Otherwise, it's not. And then everything is like kind of flat.
Yeah. The more culture. I think what's important is then to understand gratitude, be happy with what you got, and celebrate what you have, right?
But it's very hard to do when everything is given. And it's very hard not to give, because even if I don't give, it's so much easier to get stuff. Yeah. It's so much easier. You just have to show up and things are appearing. Like the house is still going to clean itself because, it's going to clean itself because everybody likes clean house. Yeah. And the gratitude becomes... like understanding that if you're not grateful, nothing changes, essentially. Because people, it's like praying, right? You pray when things are bad. Most people do. You shouldn't do it that way, but essentially when shit hits the fan, you start praying and maybe things are getting better. But if nothing is really bad, there's no need to pray. So you kind of lose connection to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I think whether it's something good or bad, you should then you just feel guilt or something, right? Because like I think you should be pray if you're going to be prayer spiritual, it's got to be consistent, whether it's good or bad,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
but ultimately, I think what we're saying is it goes back to the beginning of the conversation. You know, you have to earn it. You have to try and have the rejection or put in the effort and have tried something, and not just get handed to you.
Yes.
Right, because that leads to laziness and complacency, which then leads to your demise, right?
So that's what I think we just need to do more. Like, okay, we're giving all these opportunities, and instead of sitting lazy, we just need to go 100 times more. That's why it's extreme sense of urgency.
Yeah,
comes from there. It's like,
Yeah.
if we do something and we have everything is given to us, let's just use it to the extent we never did to create something even crazier.
Yeah, be comfortable at being uncomfortable, right? I think what they say is you got to, in order to keep your brain going, you got to keep learning, learning something new. Challenge your mind, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the pivot is an important thing. I guess you did the pivot when you decided, okay, this festivals are great, but I want to do something else. For somebody who is thinking to pivot, but they're not sure if they should, like what are the learnings that you realized, okay, this is a moment to pivot?
I think your physiology will tell you that it's time to move on, and if you're looking at the signs, the signs will tell you physically and externally that this is no longer for you, and you just have to be willing to let go. And then again, kind of like trying to meet that partner that looking at that person across the room that you want to meet, you just got to take the plunge and try, and then look for that path and be fearless. And the gratification that comes out of trying is much better than having the constant unknown. What if I didn't do it, or what if I tried it and didn't try? You know what I mean?
I think Hormozy says there's a push and pivot, and you need to know when to push and when to pivot. So for me, sometimes very hard to discern. Is my body tells me, is my body faking it and just need to push more, and then once I get over the hump, I'm fine? Or I just need to pivot.
Yeah.
And finding out when to push and when to pivot, because both of them the body might give you the same sensation.
Yeah.
Oh, you're tired, but maybe it's just an excuse for you not to go and do more. Or you're tired, maybe I should just stop this at all and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, going back to, like, if something is motivating you, you're just going to get up and want to do it. It doesn't become work, right? As you know, if you find something that you love, you don't have to work a day in your life, right? As I think is it Gandhi or is it Buddha said that? I forgot who, but one of them. But the thing is, if you're motivated, you're naturally energized to want to do it, and then also the universe provides the energy and the external forces that help you kind of realize it.
Yeah. So just finding that path where, because even in the thing that you like to do, sometimes you take a wrong turn. Let's say you like to paint, but you don't like to paint with a brush, and then the only thing is available is a brush. So you start painting, and you're like, I hate painting. No, you just don't like to paint with a brush. Maybe you like to do 3D painting on your computer, and essentially you see what you like, you take that, take away what you don't like, and then you kind of slowly pivot into something that is morphed into.
I mean, everything is iterative, right? Whatever you set out to do is never the way it works, right? You have your plan A, and it usually ends at plan D, right, or whatever it is, and it's like a series of iterations of kind of pro con trial and errors and whatnot until you get to where you are. Like you said, it's like using the analogy of the paint medium. You realize that you're not a water, acrylic painter. You actually paint with your fingers, or you're painting with a robot arm. Who knows? Right? But so I think it's through the trial and immersion that you're going to come to that answer. If you look at Wonder Fruit and other festivals, Swara, whatnot, it started one thing and it evolves over time and evolves with you and with what the community dictates. And with the times and with the culture.
I think the very powerful statement that you said, I completely agree, people don't get, is it will never be as you envision it to be. It will always be different.
Yeah.
And if you're stuck into a certain way that it needs to be, this is where unfulfillment comes.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to push somewhere
Yeah.
where you already have old beliefs and you realize a new information came, you failed. This is where you need to go. You're like, no, I am so stuck into my view that it needs to be like that.
Yeah.
And once you get to it, you're like, shit, I don't like it anymore. But I had all this information before to know where I need to go, and I didn't go. And I think that's what kills entrepreneurship, where you're so stuck. I think new entrepreneurs do it all the time. I have this great idea. I'm just going to do this exactly the way it is. And I'm going to be so blinded. Steve Jobs said he's going to do an iPhone, and he did an iPhone. So I'm going to build something.
Yeah.
And you don't understand that there was like hundreds of phones Steve Jobs tried before an iPhone.
Yeah.
He failed so many times. And then by sheer of luck and coincidence, he got some ideas, for example, that led him to make certain decisions.
Yeah. I mean, look at Newton. That was a precursor kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that I think Palm Pilot took over, and then finally the iPhone came. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely never what you set it out to be. Even in my longevity journey, there's in the space of wellness and longevity, it's the wellness. It's a $7 trillion industry, and there's so many aspects of it, and just picking which part resonates with you is a journey in itself. And then once you get that, then you go deep, right? And so yeah, you just got to see what what fits. Yeah,
comfortable with iterations.
You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And be a life student and just try it out and just be curious, right?
Yeah, and I was looking at the product because we're building right now this AI application, and you look at it and like, it doesn't look the way I envision it to be, but this is version 1, and I know where I'm going, and where I'm going, this is exactly where it needs to be right now, because I can see where potentially it will lead, and be comfortable with this, to look at it and like, yes, the iPhone also didn't look like if you look at iPhone 1, it was literally like piece of crap. Like I had one and it was kind of useless. You look at it now, I mean, I don't want to talk how Apple stopped innovating, but even if you look from now, like 20 years later, it's completely different, looks amazing. But it would not look like that if you didn't take the first version.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you look at the robot heart sound system from year 1, 18 years later, what it looks like now, it's this apples to oranges, completely different looking thing. Yeah,
exactly. So being comfortable with looking at the iterations and keep going. Great. So what is your purpose? What gives you meaning, and what is your purpose?
Well, I think my purpose is to continue to create and challenge myself and give back and provide help others thrive. Through the platforms I've created and my the gift I've been given, and of course with family and that gives another bigger purpose, and I think it's all tied to community, right? Whether it's your internal community to the extended community and beyond. Yeah,
and if people want to join your community in any ways, how can they do that?
I'm not really a social media person, but I guess you could DM me on Instagram at Swami.
Well, I mean, they also can go to your events.
You can go to my events, but although the longevity clinic and regeneration clinic and also the down the line we'll have the longevity conference and week-long longevity week. They'll all be coming to fruition shortly, and we'll have a longevity line of products. But just stay tuned. That should be coming online within the next 8 months to 2 years on different projects.
Amazing.
But see us on the Playa at Robot Heart. It's a Wonderfruit's 10-year anniversary this year, and although I'm no longer active on the project, still a co-founder, just
amazing.
Yeah, I'm always down to collaborate. So hit me up, and hope to work with someone here.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.